Hello, and thanks for joining us on Tech24. I'm Julia Seeger, and here are your headlines. Should governments be given backdoor access to encrypted technology? We'll open this ongoing debate that's happening worldwide. On one hand, intelligence services argue it's a way for terrorists to go dark. On the other, civil society groups are defending the digital security encryption provides. And we'll test a trendy and funky electric board by French company Velair. You'll see it feels like flying on a magic carpet as you go to work. But before we open a chapter of this show dedicated to encryption, let's first turn to our in-house expert, Dan and Jay Kattlecar. Welcome, Dan.
Thank you, Julia.
Let's first talk about encryption, the encryption process, because I think there's a lot of people out there that don't actually understand what it entails. Can you tell us more about this technology and how it works precisely?
Well, basically, encryption involves converting your normal data into something that's unrecognizable, and then turning that unrecognizable data into, for the recipient, for example, can read it using special keys. So, for example, here you see, in order to turn this normalized data into encrypted form, you use a cipher, which is a complex algorithm. Once this data is converted into seemingly random numbers, which don't make any sense. So the recipient, for example, in this case, has a key to decrypt that data and then turn that data back into normalized text. Now, there are two types of encryption processes. One is the asymmetric encryption, which uses two keys, which is the public key and the private key, and the symmetric encryption, which uses public keys, which are essentially the same.
And so it pretty much, the sender puts the files into a sort of safe with a key, and then it sends it to the recipient.
That's
and the
right.
recipient,
the recipient should have the matching key as well in order to open that particular vault and get the file. This is a very simplistic form of explanation.
And what about if a hacker intercepts the safe while it's sending? Can he decipher this message? Is it easy for him? Well,
it depends on levels of encryption. There are different levels of encryption. As I mentioned, there are different processes which determine how strong a particular encryption is. So for example, asymmetric encryption is supposed to be very strong, so it will be more difficult for hackers to break into the particular file or the data that's being sent. And then if the encryption is not so strong, then it will be easier, relatively easier for hackers. So, of course, an unsecured network, it will be the...
So it depends on the level of encryption.
Levels of encryption, exactly.
And where do you find this type of technology?
Well, Julia, you find it practically everywhere, starting with your Wi-Fi network, for example. Wi-Fi networks have different security protocols to make them stronger, to make them more secure. And these protocols, two of them basically are WEP and WPA. The WEP protocol was used till early 2000. It stands for Wired Equivalent Privacy. After it was found out that this was not very secure, as a result, there was an evolution, and a WPA protocol was introduced in around 2003. That stands for Wi-Fi Protected Access. And then later on, there was a further evolution into WPA2. So what this essentially does with your Wi-Fi network is it protects the data that is being sent from your device to the Wi-Fi router.
And what about for websites, for instance? Are they encrypted?
There are examples of websites as well. For example, mostly banking and e-commerce websites where the information is very sensitive and it needs to be protected at all costs. So those are highly encrypted and highly protected sites. But you won't be surprised. I mean, I'm not surprised to see that other websites are also using the security protocol called the HTTPS, which you see in the browser. Here you can see it. Which is the HTTP is Hypertext Transfer Protocol, which is the basis of formatting and sending messages on the World Wide Web. But to make it more secure, it's another secure layer which is added in the form of HTTPS, which makes it more secure. So, for example, even in search engines like Google, Yahoo, Bing, you see the use of HTTPS.
So encryption technology is pretty much in our everyday Google search, but it's also in certain devices.
That's right. DVDs, hard drives are some of the examples of encrypted devices. And there are phones like BlackBerry, which has inbuilt encryption levels. And there was a company which recently launched two phones, Black Phone and Black Phone 2. This company is called Silent Circle.
It's pretty amazing how encrypted technology has really become so widespread in our lives. And it was actually one of the topics that was discussed at the International Cybersecurity Forum in the city of Lille, northern France. Indeed, since the November 13 attacks in Paris, there have been more and more calls to allow security services to access encrypted data so they can track down criminals and terrorists who use encrypted apps to cover their tracks. But that's created heated debate, as Claire Williams and Farah Boucharak report.
This mobile phone is used by François Hollande's personal staff Atos, the French firm that makes it, says it's the most secure phone on the market. It's called Hooks, and it's sold by Orange.
The voice and text are encrypted. If you have the same phone as me, everything we say to one another will be encrypted.
Encryption means encoding a message so only those authorized can read it. They'll need a secret decryption key. You don't need to be an expert. Easily available apps like Telegram allow users to send encrypted text messages. That's making things difficult for this cyber gendarme, who's investigating the November 13th attacks in Paris.
Encryption is definitely putting a brake on our investigations because it requires us to dig deeper to access data. We have to adapt our methods to decrypt this type of sensitive information.
But there is a way for intelligence services to gain access to data. Imagine a house. The front door is locked. It's encrypted. But there's a secret back door. Anyone who knows about it can enter the house, take what they want, and leave incognito. Edward Snowden's revelations showed the NSA had back doors in US telecommunications operators. We asked France's cyber police chief if firms should open back doors to intelligence services.
All methods that are useful are possible. At least it used to work like that.
But a backdoor is a security weakness. And for this expert who runs an encryption society, backdoors are dangerous.
Anyone can exploit a backdoor. They don't stay secret for long. This system of backdoors has made the IT world rotten.
At the World Economic Forum in Davos, business leaders discussed how to reassure customers their data is secure. The founder of Wikipedia told us backdoors are a bad idea.
It's not even a valid policy option because the bad guys can just use tools that don't have backdoors and they will switch. Also, the good guys will switch because no one wants a weak tool.
Intelligence services want access, but many firms are reluctant to play game. The backdoor question is the latest chapter in the long-standing debate over if more surveillance creates a safer world.
And speaking of encryption, in Israel, the application Blind Spot is stirring much controversy. The app enables people to chat, send pictures and videos, but the identity of the sender remains anonymous. In recent weeks, the Israeli company, along with its celebrity investors, have been accused of encouraging teen bullying and internet trolls. Deeptika Laurent has more.
Forbes magazine has called it the next big messaging app with over 700,000 users in less than a month and celebrity investors like Nicki Minaj. Blind Spot allows users to send messages while masking their own identity. With its cheeky yellow emoji, menacing eye patch and red tongue sticking out, Blind Spot has become a household name, but not for the right reasons.
I think it's a very bad application. It's hurtful and demeaning to people, and people curse me and threat me a lot. I'm really scared from it sometimes.
Parents' associations fear it encourages cyberbullying and sexual harassment, but some teenagers love the app.
I use it a lot. I curse all the people who I hate, and the one I love I also curse because I can.
The app does have a 3-strike policy where if 3 people complain about the same user, that user can be barred. The company says it's being singled out because of its celebrity investors and argues that the app simply gives a voice to shy, introverted people.
First of all, it's a game, and it's another way to be real with friends. You can say everything you want genuinely, and, you know, things change when you disclose your identity. We see it as something positive.
A free counter app called SafeSpot has been launched to alert parents when their child is using Blind Spot. But parents' associations and lawmakers are calling for Blind Spot to be shut down completely, just like its US predecessor Secret, which was banned last year.
It's time for Test 24. And today we're testing the electric board by French startup Velair. Unless there's a problem, Dan, I thought you'd be rolling onto set. What happened there?
I thought so too, but since I can't roll, I thought, why not listen to music and come dancing on the set? Well, that's the great thing about this hoverboard. Even if you're not good at it, you can always enjoy the music because you can connect your phone to this particular hoverboard made by Velair through Bluetooth.
And turn it into a music blaster.
Music
That's
system.
incredible.
That's what I did because I'm really bad at this.
So, and what can you tell us about it?
Well, yes.
What's the technology inside and how does it work?
That's right. It has an autonomy of around 15 to 20 kilometers. It can be charged in 1 to 2 hours. And as I mentioned, unlike the normal hoverboard, it comes equipped with Bluetooth, so you can listen to music as you roll, put your headphones on, and be cut off from the world and just roll along.
And this is not a real hoverboard, it's actually an electric board, but I think you have good news for Back to the Future fans.
That's right. The real hoverboard, which floats on a cushion of air, it's called ARCA board. It basically consists of, it has 36 electric duct fans in this board. So what they do is once they start rotating, they create this cushion of air, and you can steer this hoverboard using either your phone. It has an inbuilt stabilizer in it, so you can use your phone. And if you are brave enough and you're an expert, you can turn off this stabilization system, and you can steer it by the movement of your body. Yeah, exactly.
Just like on a magic carpet.
That's right. It's fantasy come true. Yeah.
Thank you, Dan. Well, that's all we have time for here at Tech24, but you can watch it again on our website, france24.com. And if you'd like to comment on what you've just seen, you can hit to our Facebook page. Thanks for watching, and see you soon.